Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a new Doctor Who podcast episode. In today's episode, we're actually going to split it in half. We're going to be speaking half about Doctor Who and half about autism. So it's going to be really cool. So today is a very interesting one, and I think this episode is going to be released on Halloween because it's got a really Halloween vibe to it. And Richard will kind of know that because he knows more about this than me. Um, me and Richard met, I think probably about was it like 2 weeks ago, Richard? When I came to your pub.
It was a little over 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and I am the son of the person who owns the pub that 73 Yards was filmed in. So I was lucky to be there at some point when they were filming. So I got to meet some of the cast, and it was
Yeah, it
interesting
must have
couple of
been an
days.
interesting. It must have been fun to be there.
Yeah, it was. It was. Yeah, it was very good. Obviously, we had to shut the pub, and then they rocked up with lots of different trucks and lots of different people from Bad Wolf, and they were like little ants scurrying everywhere, getting everything done, and they're very very organized. I was blown away by how organized they were and how on time everything was. It was good. Yeah.
I like, did they have to get there really early then, in the morning? Like each day.
Well, they came to set up the day before, um, and then they took different lighting shots and things. Decided where they wanted to place cameras and things. That was all done before the cast came the next day. Then, yeah.
Yeah,
So they weren't wasting filming time. And see.
yeah, because it is interesting because it's interesting how film one works because in the episode, I think they're in it about maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Not
not
even
even
that.
that.
Not even
Yeah,
that. Um,
but they were there for like 5 days or 4 days, something like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
It takes that long to do like
yeah,
a few scenes.
because they have to film every part of dialogue. They have to film from like two or three different angles, and they have to keep going back and doing it again. So the bit where Millie is saying about Mad Jack at the bar, that was done at least 10 times. I think different takes, different angles, different setups for the cameras, to catch different things. And it's like, I suppose the craft to TV acting must be not so much can you act it one time really, really well. It's can you act it three or four times exactly the same so that you can edit it together and it looks like the same shot. That's really hard. Like, the editors and the actors must work really hard to get it right. Like,
Yeah, it must. It's interesting how they choose these locations, though, isn't it? Um,
mm,
because
yeah. I
like,
mean, obviously, like I think I said to you when I met you, that the pub's been used twice for Doctor Who related or the Who universe related stuff, and both times, it's not been called the pub's name, and it's been given quite a sinister vibe, which I think is unfair because if you come there, it's a fairly welcoming place. I think we try
yeah,
to we try to make it a nice place to be in, but in both episodes it was given quite a sinister twist to it, so or an unwelcoming twist. Uh,
yeah.
but
I, 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 I,
real,
I think maybe that's because it's like it's in the middle of nowhere in a way. Although if you live nearby, it won't be. But if you're like me, who just went there because Doctor Who was filmed there, and like you go up down this probably road where any car could come in, can't it? Like, and then yeah, it's like because on the sat nav we was looking as we went there. We said, "Are we nearly there? We nearly there?" And I said, "Yeah, it's there, it's there." But it's got some really good views near the pub, hasn't it? Like in the distance.
yeah, we're lucky. You can look across the Caerphilly Basin. You can see the castle, which is Caerphilly Castle is like the second biggest of its kind in Europe, and it's quite an impressive castle just as a castle. But that's also being used as a filming location for Doctor Who on multiple occasions. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mostly in the Flesh, the one that was called, I think it was called the Flesh
yeah,
with Matt Smith, or Rebel Flesh or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. The Ganger ones.
Yeah, yeah, the Ganger ones.
Yeah, it's it's interesting because like I last year especially I went to quite a lot of castles because a lot of castles in Wales filmed Doctor Who. Um, and
Hmm.
it's interesting because I went to, let's say, one castle and it had one scene, and then another castle had another scene from the same episode.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, they just like that stairway or
yeah,
that angle room to make it
like
look like one cohesive.
especially the Cyberman one with Clara in it. Um, and
Okay.
I can't remember what it was called. It had I forgot his name, but it was the one where the Doctor had to play chess. I think the Doctor
Okay.
had the Doctor had to play chess, and so in the stairway, it was in one episode, and then something completely different. It's it's in a different part, which
Yeah,
it's really interesting. And there's some scenes that they're just using a hallway of a castle or somewhere, or just a one room. Like
yeah,
wh- like um I forgot when I went, but because there was so many different parts that you want to look at in one. But you had where in the I think the end of time in David Tennant's last episode as the 10th Doctor, and the Master was getting resurrected, brought back
oh,
to life, and that was in one room in a castle, which actually makes sense because it looks like it. But you would think it's on the ground floor because that's what it looks like in the episode, but it's not.
right.
It's quite high up in the castle, so it's interesting how it all it works because because they don't do it as easy as you would think, do they, Richard? Because they won't just do like episode one. Let's record episode one first.
Yeah,
If one episode has another location nearby where you are, so you might have an episode four might be close by to episode five. They'll do one scene out of that, which is more kind of complicated, isn't it? Because in
yeah.
you would want to just do it in order, but they can't do it in order because they
No,
do.
I mean, for
Uh,
example, the episode that they filmed 73 yards at the White Cross, um, you know, that was filmed really early on. I think they'd only been filming a couple of weeks. And when they came to us, they were doing that scene with us at that point because Shooty wasn't available yet. He was still filming Sex Education. So they only had the rest of the cast, and Millie to actually do scenes with. So they had to decide what scenes they wanted to do so that when Shooty was available, they could make the most of his availability time then.
yeah,
So that's why they're out of sequence as far as I know. But I assume that they have to do a lot of things out of sequence, lots of TV.
yeah. I think it was the first episode they started on, wasn't it? Um,
Mm. So I think
like
they'd already done the some of the bits, some the bits without Chuty over in West Wales they'd done already, and then I think with the woman and things from that perspective, and then they come to us then to do the pub scenes.
because I think a day or so before, maybe 2 days before, I went to where the place where they filmed all the woman scenes, and I'll show you the pictures in of me wearing the costume that he wore in the episode. Um, where people would walk past thinking, "What am I doing?" Because it was a nice hot day. It was. It weren't raining.
Yeah,
I was in that duffel coat and it was so hot. Um, but yeah, it's interesting because that is nowhere near the pub, is it?
no,
It's it's like at least an hour and a half away, probably maybe
yeah,
even 2 hours from it.
yeah. No, it's all edited together to make it look like it's near and the same and things.
Yeah, because Ruby goes down to walk, and then said the pub's up the road. The woman says, and then she's there. Um,
And when we're nowhere near the sea as well. The White Cross is nowhere near the sea. Like it's a good 8 miles away from the nearest bay, which would be Cardiff Bay, I think.
yeah, yeah.
There's a mountain way as well. Can't even see the sea.
It's pretty cool because where your pub is, I think down the road at one point is where the woman is just standing there. So
Yeah,
like it's standing outside on that road. And I was going to go on it, but I weren't going to because it's a road. But it's interesting. They must have had all roads closed off at that point
yeah,
because otherwise it would have been too dangerous, wouldn't it?
yeah. They did that. So obviously, further down the road, both ways, there were like road closure signs, and there was like a truck each end as well, blocking people off with people there, man there to say, sorry, you can't go past, unless it was residents who were living in the houses in the village, which obviously they're allowed to go to their homes, but everybody else had to. And even if people were if they were rolling camera, they'd be asked to wait until they'd stop rolling camera. So even if it was residents who were like next door to the pub or a couple of doors down, they'd be asked to wait until they'd stopped filming. But yeah, I think everything was done very well. They've obviously done this so many times with different programs. They've got it like a well-oiled system.
Yeah,
It was really good.
it's really awesome. Um, yeah, because I, I was questioning to myself, is it on that road? But it is because you can see it is there. So they didn't they must have got a lot of the outside chairs away as well because they didn't show them. I don't think. Um,
No, and also for that scene, I think the one you're talking about where Millie's Ruby's looking out the window,
yeah,
and she's looking at the woman doing all the hands things. That isn't line of sight from the window in the pub, so they had to erect a whole different window frame that was actually on the road to look down the road towards the chapel. Um, so it looked like, from when the camera's behind Millie looking out down the lane, that they had the right shot. And then obviously from the other perspective, from the woman's side of it, the outside of the pub in, they just shot the real window of the pub then, you know.
yeah.
So
It it was really interesting, wasn't it? Because
hmm.
I'm looking out the window and I'm saying the woman can't be standing here because you've got all tables. So they're just looking down the road, which is interesting. Um,
Hmm.
and just staring down them. So when that, like, I think it was, looking at the cast list here, it was either it might have been that the person playing Theon Pritchard, um, him there. I think he went out and he went on the road, didn't he? Because the
Yeah,
line
yeah.
of sight
He
and
ran, he ran away from her because, screaming as they do.
yeah, yeah. Um, so it's really interesting how they've done that because like you wouldn't have thought that would have happened that way, but it's really cool how they film things.
Yeah, yeah. The magic of what's what's inside that little box matters, and everything around it doesn't.
Yeah,
Got it
yeah.
right. Like,
So if we're looking at the cast this here, we just so the people that were in the pub were um I'd say Maxine Evans. She was kind of one of the person at the bar where you normally
yeah,
are, Richard.
she was the yeah, where I am normally,
Yeah,
honestly. So yeah, she was the landlady. We had Sean Phillips, and we had obviously Sean, Joshua Steele, uh, Sean Pritchard, and Rion Morris Jones, and Glyn Pritchard. He brought the pasties in, and obviously we had Millie. I think that was it. Yeah, obviously Sean Phillips was there. She's quite a well-respected Welsh actress. She is.
yeah,
Um,
very well.
oh yeah. Shall I show you the things or?
Yeah, yeah. Let's go on to the next slide. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go picture by picture, and Rich is going to kind of explain what happened. Um, in them. So yeah, let's go to the first picture, Richard.
So the pub is normally called the White Cross Inn, but and it's in South Wales. This sign that they put up in place of our sign, uh, Pren Marw, which means a dead wood, and yeah, so that date, 1863, is a lot younger than the actual pub, which would have been 1740s. Um,
So
yeah,
they took your sign down to put that one up.
yeah, they took our sign down. If I wish I thought to show you a picture of what the actual pub sign looks like, but it's basically just a Celtic cross, a
What?
white Celtic cross.
Yeah.
Um,
What happened to this sign then once they finished filming?
they took it back with them.
Uh,
I did ask them, they wouldn't let me keep
You,
it.
you couldn't keep it.
Yeah. So this McCrane Brewery Pub Awards, that's theirs as well. If you look carefully, you can see that the screws are new. Our real pub has won awards due to my mum's hard work, but not that one. So this is me in front of the sign that they wrote over our sign.
Yeah.
As you can see, they made it a Pren Marw sign here. I don't know. Can you see my Can you see my cursor?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so here, this bit, they made it look old. And this here they added, which I thought was cool. I wanted to keep that, but they wouldn't let me. And I thought, I don't know why they wouldn't let me keep that, because there's no like writing on it, and I don't know how you'd use it elsewhere. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
but we didn't really see this part in the episode, did we? So if
It's like it's that's what it looks like. It's obviously the dead tree with the roots and the gnarled branches, and I thought it was quite cool, but
I,
they wouldn't let me do that.
I
So
don't know. I don't know if it's anything to do with maybe because they own it or something like that. And but
yeah, maybe I don't know, or is it just they don't want us to flog it online on eBay or something, which I wouldn't have done. So this one, Trivan, that's one of the made up Welsh ales they decided to make up because they're not allowed to use real products because that would be product placement, and that's not okay for the BBC. So everything that you see in any clarity has to be sort of made up things. So this sign was placed over a little brass sign that we've got in the pub, which is a little bit rude. So they put this Welsh ale sign up over it.
oh yeah, I
And
think
it
I
say,
remember the rude one. I saw it. I think I took a picture of
yeah,
it. When I
yeah.
was at the
So
pub.
we have two of them, and what both of them are a bit rude. They're not too nasty, but they weren't allowed to be seen on screen. So they they made these signs to put up over them, which was quite good. They obviously measured the signs perfectly. So you can see here, this is from just in front of the bar, and you can see one of their beer mats, which I actually have now. I shouldn't, I do. I'll show you. It's actually here, but you probably won't be able to see it because it'll be small. Um, so that's their beer mat that they made. Again, not a real beer. And it's a view of obviously the camera dolly and the lights dolly and everything that the camera doesn't show. Like up here, can you see where my cursor
Yeah,
is?
yeah.
Like that was a big thing of LED lights that they, made everything really bright.
Yeah. So
Okay, and
it's cool how all the
this
cameras are
next
everywhere.
one, yeah. So this next one was
The bar.
this one is all beers, yeah, and the bar, which you don't actually see on shot, but it's actually they did all of this as well. So we've got the Draig Velin, which is either yellow dragon. We've got Trivan Welsh Ale again. I managed to Snaffle that one. Bryn Blythe is like Wolf Field or Wolf Hill.
Yeah.
Uh, Glengatwood Brewery, and Bryn Hennell is Royal. There we are. There we are. And if we go around, that's ask my mum, who's the actual landlady and the person who the pub belongs to. She's just signing some stuff. That's one of the grips or special effects guys, I think he was actually. He was in charge of like the smoke that they put in to make it look like cozy and smokier in the pub.
Okay.
He was in charge of that, but he was playing our piano in the back room, which was good. We got my cajon there and a guitar on the wall, so people can come and play that if they want. Yeah, they put the front ones, the front bottles. They put, these labels on, which again they're not real. Obviously, Jameson's monkey shoulder is, but I think these guys they're all made up labels. Steve, they left Steve there. Steve is a local legend. He was one of the original Pontypool front row people. Pretty Steve Fennick. He lives in the village. So there we are. And so obviously we've got the and as you can see the smoke that I was talking about, you can see it's quite hazy there in that shot. You know, the Welsh dresser there at the back. You can be seen fairly clearly in both the Doctor Who and the Torchwood episode that they filmed there. The Torchwood episode was called Countryside, and there were cannibals living in the pub. Ooh. So this is our actual door to the gentleman's toilets, but they replaced all of our posters and things that we had on our notice board with their own. I think I've got this somewhere. This is the.
It's interesting because I don't know. Was there any shots of that in the episode?
No, that's what I mean. Like all those pumps I just showed you, these were facing away from the camera. So, like, they really went to town, making sure, just in case, that they wanted to shoot it from that angle, that they could.
Yeah.
So they had. So where you came to stand for the photo that we had together, was a massive camera, and he was the guy that was mostly in charge, director, I think.
Yeah, so they must have had one camera, one angle, and then another one at another angle.
Oh yeah. So this in the back room of the pub, which is actually to the side. We call it the back room, but it's to the side. They had all the monitors and the special effects makeup people. Not that there was so much special effects makeup, but the makeup people and the special effects. And so I was looking at this. So that was obviously she was acting at that point. So we were all like having to be very quiet and just watching to the monitors. I couldn't hear what was being said because unless you're plugged into it, which I wasn't, you can't hear it. But yeah.
So you was allowed to be in there and just like see it. And
obviously when they're acting, you can't really, like, if I go back to this shot, I took this shot from, I was sitting on the stairs. Now, just to the right here is the doorway, which is, there's no actual door and it's just like a empty doorway that goes to the part where they were filming, the front of the pub. So like obviously I wasn't in shot, no one else was in shot, only the actors here, but I had to be very quiet. I wasn't allowed to move basically, so I had to basically sit there the entire time that they were rolling, because obviously if I'd stood up because the stairs are creaky and wooden, that would have ruined the shot, like, with the sound.
So did they only, because you got the pub there, did they only show the the heart, because there's two sides, isn't there, of the bar. Like you have that side and then you have the other side where people can go. Did they only show the side where I was standing, we had a picture to where the door is, or did they also use the other side to the right of it as well?
No, I don't think they did use it. Or if they did, it was at a time that I wasn't there, but I don't think they did. Um, you know, so this is the obviously the date and the clapperboard,
Which
the director's name and
which is
director of photography.
2022.
Yeah, yeah, a while back now. So that's Sean through the window. So I was outside the pub at that point, and they were rolling inside, and I just took a sneaky photo of Sean through the window.
That's pretty awesome.
And there she is again. And the lady was a landlord lady, and the pie man, the guy who bought the pasties. Yeah. So, and these are tankards that some of these are actually used by our locals. They have their own tankard that they brought, and yeah. So that's the front of the pub now, where most of the action took place. And they're obviously filming towards the other side of the room. That's the corner of the Welsh dresser and the fireplace. The window that she looks out of is just the other side of this log pile.
Yeah, it's like you've got a little track going on there.
Yeah, that's Millie signing a magazine for me. But I got it signed for my friend's
Oh, that's awesome.
son, who was having a bit of a rubbish time. So that's
Uh,
why it's
it's a good magazine.
yeah, it is a nice one. So that's a neighbour's house where they put light riggings up. And that's the lady who was acting the landlady. And you can see this pump badge there. I don't have the pump badge for the other one, but I've got a beer mat which corresponds to it. Again, both of those completely made up, not real Welsh beers. So these now we're going into pictures that are either screenshots or pictures that they sent us as a sort of, here you go, we've got it. We've got a little frame up on the wall by the fireplace now, sort of commemorating their filming. That's Millie. That's me. That's a screenshot of me and my mum.
Doctor Who Unleashed.
Yeah. And this is one of the ones that they sent us, I think.
Were they curtains?
That's me.
Were those curtains put in, or do you actually have those curtains near the window?
I think they put them in there. Our curtains are not as long, they don't touch the floor. And I think ours have got patterns on.
That's the door.
That's Millie coming through the door. This is a very important piece of wood here because our door is very hard to open from the inside. So if you're holding 2 pints of beer, you need to put one of them down on the little shelf and open the door. Otherwise, you might struggle.
Yeah, people did struggle. Well, I think I shut it for a while, just have a picture.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we go on those pneumatic things on the to shut the door.
Yeah.
As per fire regs, but I think it's a little bit too strong. So this is okay. So if you're standing in the bar, if you're actually standing in the bar and you're looking to your right.
Yeah.
Lady.
Um,
She does not have line of sight. She does not have line of sight to the lady because she'd be looking at the chapel. And this is the other camera which is looking through the pretend window that they made in the middle of the lane to look down towards where the lady was standing here.
Yeah, near the church as well.
Yeah, near the chapel. Yeah. So again, they've got some shots.
Where, where's that bit?
That's just from the front door of the pub, from the outside of the pub, looking to the front door of the pub. So we've got an exterior door, and then so they wrote over my my sign that I did. We still got that. That's from the telly. So you can see the Welsh dresser, see the gap where the bar is, the two signs that they replaced because they were a bit rude.
So that's at the front of the pub as well, like just in front of the bar. Wet.
Yeah, I think that would have been taken through the window or right in front of the window, if not through the window. But they removed the window, you see, for a couple of shots. They removed it completely. They put it back in later.
I wonder if you actually ate the toast.
I can't remember. I reckon it was probably quite stale by the time they finished shooting.
You probably have to do it half a dozen times.
There's Sean. Go. This is not normally there. We normally have a large brass fitting with all our lagers on and our cider, sort of the keg stuff. That's I don't know why they took that. That's so one of the crew made a little snowman, and this is the churchyard, the chapel yard, the graveyard of the chapel, looking out across Philly.
Okay.
That's yeah. So that's down the lane, taken not from the actual window. That's the post that holds the sign, the pub up.
Is that as far as she goes, the woman, or did she go any closer?
Don't think she goes any closer because she's always that 73 yards away, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a screen grab of the episode, so you can see here. This is
December.
This is the pretend window.
Okay.
So the normal window is directly under this window, I think. But the one they made was here to actually look down. And they put all this up to make it dry. So obviously it had been snowing, it wasn't very nice weather. That's the graveyard of the chapel. And they're looking down past this.
It was snowing in December then, 2022.
Yeah, so it was actually wintry, looked wintry. And there we go. Yes, that's one of theirs as well.
It's kind of a wintry episode, really.
Yeah, it is sort of dark and wintry. Yeah.
And you got the football there on the telly.
Yeah, we don't normally have a telly there. They put that up. That's not something that we have.
Yeah. So did you want to keep the telly?
No, I mean we've got a telly on the other side of the bar. Sorry, the slightly bigger one that's flat to the wall, so customers can watch that. But yeah, that's her walking up to it. Which
they do have, you do have that telephone box, I think, as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's actually, you'd think with the pub being from the 1740s that the pub would be a listed building, but it's not. It's a telephone box which is listed. You can't do anything to that telephone. We've got a defibrillator in there. My mum raised some money, the locals, and they raised about $2,000 to get a defibrillator put in because nobody uses phone boxes for phoning anymore. We wanted to keep it relevant and,
So this shot's the only shot really that you can see the front of the pub because
as it actually properly is, because as you can see from the other shots, they continued it, they built a roof over here. They built a little shed with a pretend window here. So, this is the sort of naked shot of the pub with Millie walking up to it. You can see, if you pause it, that little sign on the side, but it's like really blurred and, blink and you miss it.
Yeah, you can see all that.
There's time again for Pren Marathon of the White Cross. And I think that must be the last one because my little arrow is gone. So I will stop sharing my screen.
That is really awesome, Richard. All those pictures. I
The
know
other thing for you was the set dressing label.
with
If you
Ruby
can see
on
it.
it. It says Ruby.
Yeah. It says top 2 borrowed grey, and there's another set dressing label.
So
And
interesting.
of course, we've got some of these. Again, they'll be the wrong way around for you guys, but
Yeah.
the pump badges in a bit more detail.
Well, one.
There we go. So that was 73 yards. Was really good. I mean, I've been a Doctor Who fan since I was little. And I've definitely been a fan of it since they rebooted it,
Yeah.
At the time, I was when they started rebooting it, I was living abroad. And so weirdly, Doctor Who became like a reminder of home, because it is very British. And because they were filming, I'd glimpse places of home and things, I mean, as a teacher, I don't think you get a better setup for creative writing and things than when the doctor can look like whoever you want. So if you wanted to write a Doctor Who story, you could have them have regenerated into a man or a woman, or even something that it doesn't look particularly human, because there's no rules around that. And also, it's a perfect magic door story as well.
Yeah.
If someone's interested in history, you want to teach history through it, that's great. You can teach geography through it. You can teach science through it. You can teach space and what it might like to be on different planets through it. You can go down the robot end. There's so many things that you can look at through the lens of Doctor Who if you've got pupils who are interested in that kind of thing, and it can really spur them on to write interesting things. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
I
I
think we can be proud of it. We can be proud of it as a nation.
yeah, we can, yeah. It's like whenever I was struggling, like if I was doing English at school, if I was struggling, I just think I'd make up a story about Doctor Who, my own one, and then you'd write about it. It's something that you could just, if you can't think of anything, because sometimes they ask you to write, like you say, creative writing, pick a story that you want to tell, and write about it. So Doctor Who's, you have to do it about
Yeah,
Doctor Who especially, but just about a story around that. It's the kind of the easiest way of thinking.
yeah. I mean, you think about 73 yards and you think about Blink. The Doctor is actually hardly in both of those episodes, but they are quite good episodes. Blink is brilliant. It's brilliantly written. And, you know, but you went to the place, didn't you? You actually got into the grounds of the the house that they filmed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
don't even have to necessarily have the Doctor in it very much. You can make it about the humans, and then it just be sort of set in that whole. This is why we time traveled in the first place, or this is how we undo this, or whatever.
It's brilliant.
You can
It,
MacGuffin your way out of it then.
yeah, like it was it's pretty cool going into the grounds. Like, I mean, I just went on the grass there. I showed you the picture of the Blink house. Um, so
Yeah.
I
It
was,
wasn't just a blink, was it? It's a blink woodwork one. I can't remember the
yeah, the
what
other
was it
one,
called? The
knock
wooden
knock, I
one?
think, wasn't it? Knock knock.
Knock knock. Yeah. Yeah. We filmed two places, two
Yeah,
episodes there.
it's it's.
Yeah, I was jealous because I only got to the outside gates. But maybe I'll go back there and have another crack at it.
When did you go to it?
Uh I mean, my daughter went, oh, I don't know. It was, I want to say it's probably about 4 years ago.
It's worth going because I
Yeah.
presume
So,
because I think it won't be open by the gates. It's really big though, isn't it?
yeah.
It's massive. But
Okay.
that
Sorry.
it does really well when you go to
Okay.
these places that where it's filmed because it's not that far
Yeah.
from your pub, is it? Uh, the Blink Mansion.
No, no, you get to quite a lot of places where they filmed. Obviously, for Torchwood, they got Yanto's shrine down the bay, which is looking a little bit weather worn now, but it's still there, and people still visit it. And obviously, down the bay, you've got lots of places that they filmed down in Cardiff Bay and round Cardiff. Um, Rose was filmed in Cardiff, the first episode, 2005. So you can go and stand outside the shopping centre where the autons were attacking people,
Yeah, I
things like
did
that.
that. I did that. It's
Now,
it's cool, that one. Um, yeah, like you say, lots at the bay, the Yanto Shrine. Yeah, it's a bit better to when I last went actually because before it was guarded by obstructions or something. They were doing some work on it
right,
last year, but this year they actually uh, it looks better, I think,
no,
than, than what it does now.
okay, oh, that's cool.
Um,
That's cool.
but but yeah, so you teach people that have autism. Um,
Yeah,
which
I have over the last decade been working with uh, autistic and sort of ADHD and other people who have maybe trauma as well, um, and they can't cope in mainstream schools, so they come to specialist schools like the ones I've worked in. Um, so yeah, I mean that's obviously it can be a challenging, but it's a very rewarding job, and it's taught me a lot about how different people are different. I mean, we all have similar needs and drives, but perhaps, but we're all different. We all see things through a slightly different lens, and it's taught me about how different people struggle with um, different aspects of life. Like, if they might be hypersensitive to touch, sound, brightness, having a crowded environment. I mean, you see my man cave office, whatever you want to call it. It's very crowded, but if you brought some of my pupils in here, they wouldn't be able to cope with this level of clutter.
this is a Sideman
Um,
hit.
you know, how you have to phrase certain things for certain people so that you don't trigger them. How you have to space out your classroom and have it, so that people can learn and, not bothered by other people's as much as possible. Obviously, you know, um, even though we have like small groups, 4 or 5 kids in the class, um, you've got to try and make it so that if you've got 20 children, you try to match pupils up with other pupils who have similar needs and wants, so that they don't clash. Sorry, my phone is turning on silent.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, I've been doing that a long time now, and it never stops teaching me. Um,
Yeah.
I never stop learning about people. And through that, yeah, it's a good job, and for the days that you have, which are challenging, you know, um, especially when you're out in the community, sometimes people, because you can't obviously can't see anything physically wrong, um, so people don't understand that person, that pupil might be struggling, so they'll come up too close, or they'll be a little bit rude, uh, and then the people then will react. For every one of those negative interactions, you've got 10 to 20 positive interactions, which help that pupil and to learn that yes, being outside with lots of people is scary, but if you're driven and you want to have those experiences, you have to sort of find ways to cope, and there are ways of coping. If you're noise sensitive, you can wear ear defenders or earplugs. And it's about building as much independence for that person. So when they come to us, they're not very independent. Hopefully, by the time they leave us, we've had enough time to show them ways of becoming independent and caring, and planning for their own needs, so that they can interact and they can go and do things they want to do, and they're not as stymied by the sort of cacophony of sound, senses, noise, and other overbearing things.
That's really good. Really good that you enjoy it and that, because it is hard for some people to be a mainstream so they can come to a school that's more suitable for them. So it's good that you
Yeah,
do that, and that you like to do it as well. Because I find I do find a lot of people who like autism do like Doctor Who too. So you may find a few students or a few people that like it as well. So especially now, I think this last few years, I tend to see lots of people that have autism and they like Doctor Who, or they have a good hyperfixation on it.
yeah, yeah. um I don't know, I was a bit um edgy, or whatever the word is, apprehensive, that's the word, of when Disney started to get involved. I was apprehensive. I was worried that they'd start trying to stamp their stamp on it. But I suppose the opposite end to that is that we get Doctor Who out to a lot more people, and hopefully the fan base expands, and
Hopefully,
they can tell more stories.
yeah. Hopefully, they do more at your pub. I don't know. Hopefully, they come back.
Oh, I don't know. I think maybe they've done two, maybe third time's a charm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be
Yeah,
good. It would be good if they do come. I'll let you know.
yeah. Have to let me know. Um, because I until you said like Torchwood episode, I probably have to watch the Torchwood episode again. Um,
Yeah,
the,
it's called Countryside. I think it was the first season. Might be the second, but I think it's the first.
the countryside.
And yeah, John Miles and what was his name?
Owen.
Not, I don't think Yanto was there. Oh, the Owen, yeah, yeah, yeah. Owen was in it, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a full on episode. Like it's quite dark and grim. That episode, to be fair, it's good, but it's not for the light of heart, faint of heart.
Yeah,
So
because it says, I'm just looking at it now, it says, contains some strong language and some upsetting scenes. And
yeah,
it's,
yeah, it does. Yeah. So
I'll have to watch that again. That one.
yeah,
Like,
you can clearly see like in the scenes where they're inside the pub, you can see the Welsh dresser and the hatch to the bar and things quite clearly.
has not much
Um,
changed then since then.
hmm.
Has
Oh,
much
we changed
changed since then.
yeah, the furniture's changed around quite a bit, but and we probably get different curtains and things. But obviously the stone work hasn't changed. The fireplace is still where that was, and the the basic elements are still there. You can tell it's the same. You look.
I I have to watch it. I only watched Torchwood, I think, in lockdown. 'Cause I never properly watched it, but I will watch it again, that episode. Because it's cool how you see things. 'Cause you probably
Mm,
wouldn't
mm.
realise unless you've been to the pub, of course. Um, but so you
Yeah, yeah,
on your pub,
exactly.
you put the sign that's saying 73 yards is filmed there. Did you do that like short, like once the episode aired? Then put the sign up saying 73 yards is
Oh,
filmed at your pub.
you mean the little frame that we've got up next to the
Yeah,
fireplace?
yeah.
Um, no, they sent us that. They sent us that.
Oh, they
They
sent
sent
you.
us the picture. Yeah. So that was after the episode had aired. Um, because we had to like promise that we wouldn't sort of let the public know before that it aired that it was filmed there.
Yeah. So you had to be
So
really
I had to keep
quiet,
stum for like yeah,
which is hard, isn't
yeah,
it? It's probably hard for you not to tell people
yeah,
like, oh, look, Doctor Who's filming there.
yeah, yeah.
So, did you keep by that promise
So
and not even tell any of your
you know,
friends?
it's there now, and we have had. Um, I did a reasonable job. I did tell some close friends, but like I didn't tell everybody. Definitely didn't tell work. 'Cause, yeah. So yeah, um, that's that's that really. I mean, it was enjoyable. It was a good insight to how things are made, and I really enjoyed it.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah,
yeah, thanks.
yeah. I'll definitely come back to your pub at some point.
I'll be
Um,
good to see you, Mason.
yeah, because yeah, I'll use my pass that you gave me for a drink.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I
Brilliant.
don't know if there's a deadline on that. Is there like a run out?
It's been in use for a long time, so don't worry about that. Yeah,
Oh, all right.
you're still on that. Definitely,
Yeah, I'm
definitely.
gonna try come back next year.
I'll be cool.
Because of course I don't live anywhere near time. I went up for the
Yeah, you're at the end of England, don't you?
yeah,
You live east and I live in the west.
yeah. I do like Wales though, because not just because of Doctor Who. Although every place I go to is really nice. Um, because I'm getting one of the Doctor Who's costumes. Basically,
Oh, that's good.
I think it's in the episode Rogue. It's a really nice one. And what I want to do is go back to do like scenes of my own in the certain locations.
Oh
Um,
yes, reenact them.
because that's
Oh,
what I
cool.
like to
That'll be
do
good.
when I'm in Wales. But at the same time, I like to visit the places. But yeah, your one because I was looking at the new series locations, and I went to a few. I went to the church on Ruby Road. That was
Right.
like the main thing, the series. So I went to a few of them. And then I wanted to see how far your pub was from where I was staying in Newport. And funny enough, it was just around the corner. So, um, as I was going to Newport, you were there. And as I said when I saw you, I looked at the time. I was saying it's shut, it's shut. It only opens at 4 o'clock. And then I was looking because it was the weekend, I think, and it's open earlier. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
that
We open 12 on a Saturday and Sunday,
it
but through the
worked.
week we open at 4.
Yeah. So it worked better So I would have preferred to go on earlier in the day rather than
Worked out.
later. Um, but thanks, Richard, for
Yeah,
talking about like the filming and everything. It's been really interesting to hear about it.
no
And
problem. Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed coming on the podcast because I don't think you've done anything like that before.
No, I haven't. It's been interesting to see how you do it and things. Thank you very much, Mason. And I hope to see you. Is it next year? And
Yeah. Hopefully
we'll
next year I'll come by again. Um,
okay.
so is the weekends the only day you're there, or is other people there as well?
Well,
And I,
if you're coming, just let me know, and I'll make myself available. Sure.
okay, I'll definitely let you know. Um, well,
Take care, man.
when I come.
Yeah.
Um, but to anyone listening, watching today, we hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a really cool episode, especially if you're into Doctor Who and that you like to know about all the film and stuff, because that's the majority of this episode. We've been just looking at filming pictures that Richard took, which are really cool. Because it's always nice to have that to see that. But yeah, thank you, Richard, and I hope you have a nice rest of your week. Um, yeah, thanks for coming on.
You too, Mason. Take care now.
Take care.